Hey folks, morning. A little head congestion going on. Happy Easter. I was able to finally get actually my whole group together on Friday night to play. Excuse me. And we were finishing up the side quest for Prince Apocalypse campaign, the Ice Shield Orcs. And one of my players, he's a half orc, has got it in his head that he wants to challenge the orc tribe chieftain to one-on-one combat so we can take over this orc tribe. More of that later. So anyway, the night started off with an encounter that we had ended on last time. I had incorrectly told them that there were these two guys flying. There's actually four of them. And these are the air cultist scouts, hurricanes they're called. And they've got those wingsuits on. And they're flying around. Well, it turns out that since they have finished wiping out the Sacred Stone Monastery, that we go from early travels to later travels, and the hurricanes were part of the early travels. So that same number on the later travels is more Earth cultists, but it's more of a raiding force. It's got a one Feathergale Spire Knight, and then 1d4, I think, of the Sky Weavers. They're magic user guys. So I just tied it together. The four wingwear guys, hurricanes. The four hurricanes come flying in. They've got light spells, so they're throwing stuff out. See, there's a fire in a camp, and they can see some stuff. So they start throwing some light spells out there, light up the place, see what's going on. And one of them takes off back to go find the raiders, because, well, in my campaign, the knights themselves are not necessarily these fanatics out to destroy the world. The cultists are. So there's this kind of dichotomy in the spire between the knights and the cultists. Some of this may have came out in some of my earlier campaign reviews, where, excuse me, the knights just want to do their thing, and they're just kind of putting up with the air cultists because that gives them access to some power. Well, after all the cultists got wiped out of the tower, the temple priest guys, cultists, got a little irate. So they've been reinforcing the spire. They've also sent a priest and a skyweaver to keep an eye on the spire's captain. My vision is kind of like Cold War Soviet Russia, where you've got the Russian military guy, commander, whatever, trying to do his thing, protecting his country, and then you've got the policy guys, the politicals who are behind him, going, are you part of the party, and are you taking the party line? So that's the kind of dynamic I have going in the tower now. So they're still pushing out to find this group of guys who came to the tower and wiped out all the cultists. The other cultists are. Obviously, the captain of Spire, knows that he had sent them to the Sacred Stone Monastery. And then they came back, and that Shavra and, shoot, I forgot the guy's name. Those two knights hadn't shown up. Animals came back, but the knights didn't show up. Well, the hippogriffs came up, the vultures didn't. So there's this whole, where's Shavra and Jeffrey? Shavra and Jeffrey, where are they? And then there's, where are these adventurers that have been making muckus, not just for all of the cults, well, two of the cults, but also specifically against the air cultists themselves. They're really upset about that. So that's the byline going on with these hurricanes. They're out searching, scouting around, and these skyweavers for the night, actually trying to hunt these guys down. So when the skyweaver shoots back to gather up everybody else, I gave them d6 rounds kind of thing. It turned out to be like 5, I think it was. And then the skyweavers, although they don't have in the book crossbows, all the pictures of them have crossbows. So I gave them crossbows. So they're just flying around, shooting down. Now everybody's asleep except for Aloysius, the imp, and one of the wood elves. They're the guys on watch, and he's in the trees. Aloysius is invisible. So there's some stuff going on. They're trying to do some things. The assassin Bowman is taking people out left and right. So there's one Skyweaver left, and most of them actually been shooting at the half orc. It was kind of funny. I'm just rolling dice here. There's 3 bodies out there which we can shoot at. Oh, that one. Oh, that one. So I'll shoot crossbow bolts into the game. I have them roll a d6 to see how long it takes me to actually get fully functional awake. Aloysius wakes up. Lady Shavra. The druid is in a tree sleeping. Nobody ever gets to him until later on. Well, nobody ever achieves him, actually. The half-orc gets his crossbows bolts. He starts waking up. So there's all kinds of stuff going on when the rounds tick by, and out fly these 4 giant vultures. And it's 4 or 3? 3 giant vultures. 2 have Skyweavers, which have lightning bolt, and one of them is the knight. Now the knight is still part of the knight thing, and he doesn't really want to get involved, so he's just kind of watching things. He's just been hanging out in the back, watching what's going on, because these Skyweavers are pissed, and they are going to wrench these guys. So they go flying in and start throwing lightning bolts. They got 3 4th level spells, or 3rd level spells, whatever the lightning bolt is. They only end up getting 2 out each, because Lady Shavra does darkness on Aloysius, who has devil visions we can see anyway, and then he's been flying around, enveloping one or the other of these Skyweavers in darkness, so they can't see. There is a I'll talk about that later. So he goes back and forth between the 2 Skyweavers. As soon as the vulture gets in full darkness, he just starts to flutter down. He freaks out. But they're up there at about 100 feet, and they're getting shot at by the bowman, and the first lightning bolt goes off. That woke up the druid. So the druid comes down. He's trying to heal people, and the only actual missile weapon they have is the bowman, so he can shoot at the vultures. Everybody else has got javelins and that kind of thing, so they can barely reach the Skyweaver guys. So they end up picking them out, and there's only one left, and he lasts almost the entire combat, flying around shooting his crossbow. And so eventually they get both of the Skyweavers. Knock them unconscious, they fall off the bird, they fall, they die. Once the last Skyweaver disappears, the knight casts that expeditious retreat thing. He's gone. They don't really have a beef with the party. It's the cultists that have the beef with the party. So they take off. The party, next morning, they finish up their rest kind of thing. Next morning they get together and start doing stuff. They start messing with these flying suits, these little squirrel suit things. And I tried to run a realistic, if you want to call it that, game. And so I have people on. My magic does not automatically resize to anybody who puts it on. That's just the way I play my game. Sorry. So they're trying to figure out, do any of these suits fit any of us? And so my own mechanic, I roll 3d6, they roll a d20. If the d20 is higher than 3d6, then the straps are adjustable enough that they can make it fit. It turns out that the half-orc is a huge bulking beast thing. One of them, they managed to be able to fit. I don't know, maybe the extra large straps, or maybe the guy was big. I don't know. So, but three of the suits actually fit 3 of the party members. So they put them on. They do the attunement thing, which I still don't have a quite grasp on how it's really supposed to work, or how I would want it to work in my world. So we just short rest, do your attunement, arcane roll. If you miss it, keep rolling, kind of thing. How does that take you to actually get tuned to the deal? That kind of thing. So they figure out how it works. I tell him a bunch of stuff about, it's got 3 charges, 2 charges are still in it, and how it works 30 feet, that kind of stuff, right? So in the morning, after they do all this stuff, the farmer, his wife, and the 2 farm hands want to get to the Dellmon ranch because Farmer Dellmon is, been gathering people together at his ranch. They're trying to fortify because they know these orcs are coming after them. So the party, takes them with them. They get to the place, and I introduce some of the NPCs and what kind of assets are available, and a couple of the PCs start talking about how, well, what kind of defenses do they have? What can we gather up? What can we do to help beef up their defenses, that kind of thing. So we start role playing that kind of deal, and Dellmon, he's a smart guy, but he's not a tactician or anything. So although he's a noble, they he work. Yeah, what kind of ideas do you have? Let's do it. They start. So they build up. Now the whole mass combat thing is there's these 40 orcs and Orog and an Ice Grummish that are part of this squad that's attacking or sieging Dellmon Ranch, and they talked about in the book a couple of different ways to do this mass combat, and I had figured out a nifty little mechanic where I just roll once for each side kind of thing, and based upon how many are there, how much damage is distributed out, and how many people die, right? Couldn't find my notes anywhere. So I start scribbling down, piecing it back together the way I remembered it. One thing I didn't factor in was all the NPCs, how they'd be scattered about. And so I kind of threw my mechanic out. And so this part of the combat actually went much more slowly than I would want it to. And again, it's more like, it's not round by round by round. It's kind of like a series of rounds and a series of rounds and a series of rounds. But the PCs still want to shoot every round and throw off their magic missiles and Eldritch Blasts and that kind of stuff every round. So it got kind of mucky, but that's okay. So the orcs attack within javelin range. They throw javelins. A couple of them get sniped with the bowmen, and they got some scouts up on top of the barn. They're shooting out. And then Lady Jovashai, she's got 2 Eldritch Blasts now. So and they're making mincemeat of some of the orcs. Most of the commoners get killed that first round, and then the orcs back out. Later on in the day, they got smoke. Yeah, they started fires. So the whole place is smoke. You got obscured vision. You only see about 30 feet. They actually come up to the line, so they're doing great axe stuff and attacking. The rest of the commoners die. The knight dies. I think one of the warriors may have died. A couple of the other warriors have been hit pretty hard. That kind of thing. So there's damage occurring out there. Orcs here and there getting knocked off. And then I have the Orog and the shaman, the eye. They've only got like 5 orcs with them. I have them actually attack the main house because nobody's actually in the main house. There's a couple of guys up on top of the main house, and so they bust through. So the PCs hear this crashing noise. Now this crashing noise is actually one of my players, my son, has been really upset that there's not more magic in the Prince of the Apocalypse campaign. Now, is there elemental magic? Yeah. These wingware things, they're magic. Yeah. There's the artifacts, obviously. Although it seems, and I haven't read too much into that, but it seems to me that it's designed that the artifacts get destroyed rather than the player be able to keep them. And so I just started rolling for some magic items. If I've got a named person, I go ahead and roll out of the DM's guide their CR treasure kind of thing, see what they end up with. Well, based on these 40 orcs and the Orog and the Ice Grummish, it's over 17 CR total or something like that. Rolled whatever it was, one of the categories. Rolled some magic items, and the Ice Grummish had a couple of scrolls, a cantrip scroll. How useless is that? And a couple of other scrolls. Now, I had initially rolled, and it had been a higher table, and so they had a scroll of Power Word Kill and a scroll of Earthquake. And the Orog had the Horn of Blasting. Those 3 things would have completely destroyed the scenario, so I just took those out. So the Orog ended up with a potion of Storm Giant Strength. And the Abgrummish, a couple of scrolls there I mentioned. Just consumables, nothing really significant. So the Orog takes the potion, bashes down the door, comes whopping in. The Orc and the Druid, half Orc and the Druid run into the house and melee consumed. Even with the +9 damage bonus on the Orog, he wasn't able to do too much to the half Orc before the half Orc, chopped him up. It only lasted like 2, maybe 3 rounds. I think it was just 2 rounds before they got the Orog down, and so the Abgrummish booked out. And then I have the elves show up, the horn blows, the rest of the orcs scatter. It's actually a strategic round, earlier than it should have been. Normally, after the smoke fire thing, they wait till the middle of the night and they come in and start buildings on fire and that kind of thing. But from the combat before and the combat we're currently going through and how slow, unfortunately, I was running things, it was getting late, so I just went ahead. Okay, elves show up, they blow their horns, they scare the orcs away, they start circling around, and that's kind of where we ended. The fight was over. They have a little party, everybody celebrates. There's some discussion going back and forth about what's going on and where the orcs are from, that kind of stuff. And that's where we ended that session. Now they still have the party, because what do I need to plan for next, guys? The party is still planning on trying to hunt down these orcs. Excuse me. Because they want to support the half orc doing this one-on-one combat thing. So I've been since then trying to develop an orc tribe. Now it used to be the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide under the orc monster category discussed about after there's 2d100 orcs in a tribe kind of thing, and after you have so many, you get a 2nd level guy, and after so many, you get a 4th level guy, after so many, you get a 5th level guy, that kind of stuff, which is not in the new DM's guide. So I just kind of pieced together, okay, if there's a squad of orcs is 40, 3 squads is 120 orcs, that makes a company. That's one of these stronghold places. There's a handful, so I made 4 of these stronghold places, and then you've got a chieftain in each one of those, and you got this high chieftain guy who's in charge of all of them. And so I've been rolling her up. I've decided it's going to be a girl. In fact, I've decided she's actually a half orc. And even though she's statted at the orc chieftain monster stat, I'm going to give her some character levels, to give some flavor, and to help beef her up, to see how things go. In my mind, I'd like to see her actually beat the half orc. But if he actually wins, then she'll kind of like a Spartan deal. Okay, he's good enough. He can beat me. He's good enough. Joint rule kind of thing or something. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, it'll certainly put my son, who's the half orc, under a great amount of stress, because the last time he ran into a half orc female that I played, he got really weirded out. So that's where our campaign is. We're somewhere between the Sundering Hills and the High Forest, and those Badlands out there, getting ready to try and hunt down some orcs. And they'll be able to find them. The elves have had some issues with the orcs, and the book talks about the background, what's going on, why they're doing this rampaging and stuff. So there's some rationale going on and how they can deal. Because Lady Shavra, this whole getting with the orcs thing, wanted to actually treat with them. Let's parlay. Where they can make a deal with the town and the farmsteads, making donations, so the orcs leave them alone. And that makes some sense. It doesn't quite jive with why they're actually doing their thing, but they can talk through that and maybe work the way out that way. We'll see how it goes. Happy gaming.